Hi, one of the Good Noise podcast here with Smoke Detector. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you to start the project, and what does the project name mean?
Um, so inspiration to start the project is kind of cringe. It's kind of sad. I like it's a weird little story, and I tend to give a little bit too much detail when I tell stories, so I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But I started listening to Roswell Kid when I was like 12, and I got back into them when I was like 19
Mm-hmm.
after like not listening to them for like 6 years or so. And when I got back into them, like YouTube recommended, like got me to Pup and then Mom Jeans, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, I just want to do what Mom Jeans does. So I started Smoke Detector with my roommate, who I was making vaporwave music with at the time. Um, and this shitty house that we lived in had like 10 smoke detectors in the tiny little house,
Wow.
and all of them were like plugged into the house's wiring and not like entirely battery operated. So
Mm-hmm.
when the batteries died, the house would like power it to make it beep
Mm-hmm.
constantly.
Wow.
And so like no matter what, because there were 10 of them, like one of them was always dead. Like if you were in the house, it was just constantly beeping.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we somehow threw shows in there and just had to do it like loud enough that
Nobody
you couldn't
knows.
hear the beeping in the background all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's great, though.
but
Wow.
yeah, and then I smoke a lot of weed,
Okay.
and so I
All
thought it was
right.
funny. Um,
That's great. All
yeah.
right. Wow, that sounds very frustrating though. Just always having one off. God. All right.
Yeah.
So what is your writing process like?
Um, it's 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 changed a lot. I've been experimenting with a lot of things. So over the past, it's been about 2 years since I last released any kind of music,
Mm-hmm.
because I've gone through a lot of different experiences and trauma and stuff, and I've moved around, and I don't really have my bandmates who play with me most of the time nowadays. They don't live in the same state as me anymore, and it's just difficult to do things like that. So Smoke Detector is more representative of me and my project, personally, and my writing. And from the beginning, it was just like I've been writing songs since I was little, and I always just kind of mess around with guitar until I like something, and then we'll just like sing over it until I like words or sounds. And over the past 2 years, I've like sat down and actually started thinking about how I want to sound and like what kind of sounds I want to make, and
Mm-hmm.
what kind of things I want to say. And I've been building my songs more dynamically around that since then. There's a lot of unreleased Smoke Detector songs, and
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, that's
Wow.
All right. So how do you feel about the response to your music so far? I know it's been a couple years since you last released something.
um. I am really appreciative of everyone who has taken the time to listen to anything that I've put out. I really am not the biggest of all the music that I have released, and so like it's super cool that there are, a couple hundred people, maybe like 1,000 or so people who like have known or listened to any of those songs, and like enjoyed them at one point or another. So that's cool. I don't really do that very often. It's like a nostalgia kind of enjoyment, for me. But um, one little thing, um, because of that, I'm actually planning on re-releasing pretty much everything that is out, along with all of the songs that were written like over the past like 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
that I've just never released because I didn't really like them or anything. So I'm just putting it up out like a simple, probably somewhat demo like compilation of just like a bunch of songs from the past decade.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. All right. So, can you tell us a little bit about your headspace for the records that you do have out and released now?
Yeah. So with the first record that we released, "Fuck What Are We Even Doing," it was just like being really poor, and like I had just gone from being homeless to like crashing with people I formed a band with before Smoke Detector, and crashing with them, and then eventually getting a job and just working for a long time. That band broke up like right when it started to peak, and that was kind of like a devastating point where all I had left was work anymore, and I just worked for a while until I was like, I really need to just do something with music and get myself motivated to go back into doing all that, and started making Vaporwave with the previous drummer for Smoke Detector, Wesley Renner, and we moved in together, and it was just like everything had just sucked for a really long time,
Yeah.
and like it was the first house that any of us had signed a lease on, and it was a squat essentially. Like I had lived in squat houses previously, but this was a house that we paid to rent that like I had like trees growing in my wall because like the house like fell apart. The floors fell through, the ceiling caved in. That's all like during the writing process for all of those songs.
Okay.
We had the one bathroom that we shared, and it was like the whole house had extra high ceilings, but like the bathroom was really really tiny,
Oh.
for whatever reason, and it was just like all the shitty experiences going on. Then I just wanted to like be mad about it and talk about it and make songs about it. Yeah, I think that was awesome. Also, yeah, on the first record, it's about the time that my dad had an affair, and I like had been in a relationship with my now wife for about a year at the time, and like when my dad had the affair, I just kind of gave up on a lot of that stuff, and a lot of that shows on some of the songs too. That it was a hard time relationally, and for the second release, we had the original drummer who lived with us in that. I mean, not drummer, but bassist who lived with us in that house. Had ended up sexually assaulting a bunch of my friends, and I
Wow.
found out about it after a long time, and the victim didn't want me to confront them about it, but like was okay with me like taking measures to remove them from my life, and so that's what took place throughout pretty much the whole writing. Anything other than that was written like previously during the first EP time, but like it was a crazy time for sure.
Yeah.
All of my friends, because the like because of the situation and different complications and all of it. Pretty much, it came out over years, over the past like 3 years, that all of the people in that large friend group and all of the victims in those situations and the abusers in those situations are all kind of mixed up. Like everybody is like guilty, and they all cut me out when I like called our friend out and I kicked him out of the band in my house, and they just sided with him, believed his side of like. I'm pretty sure he told them that it was just like I thought I had consent. It was like I don't know how you can you can just think,
Just
think
assume.
Yeah,
there's.
yeah.
Wow. Dude, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Wow.
Shit.
I don't talk about it a ton because it's a weird situation and everything's weird, but it's something that like is a part of my experience and Smoke Detector's experience, and like I don't know. I think it matters.
All right.
Yeah.
So on the topic of something hopefully a little bit more lighthearted,
Yeah.
you did kind of touch on it, but what bands influence your music?
Oh man, that's crazy. It's yeah. There's a bunch of bands, I guess. I grew up on like a lot of Christian music. I grew up on Christian ska with the OC Supertones, and like my parents were like kind of buddies with Reliant K before their first album was released.
Mm-hmm.
And so like growing up, that's pretty much all I listened to until like middle school. So a lot of Reliant K and like Switchfoot, and then I got into like Cage the Elephant and Group Love throughout high school. And without Group Love, I would not sing for any projects. I took years of learning Group Love songs and just like singing them terribly to like learn how to sing a little bit better. I don't know. I take a lot of inspiration from Nirvana, which is like just a big piece of my life. It always has been. My mom was a big fan of the grunge era.
Mm-hmm.
She was I'm pretty sure she was like finishing up high school around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. All right. Good inspiration all around. So, as we mentioned before, it's been a hot minute since you've released something.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you're planning on releasing demos from a couple years ago. Other than that, is there anything else on the horizon?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, can you tell us?
Oh, man. I want to really bad. I
Mhm.
know that I shouldn't say some things. I have a lot. I'm going to say I have a lot.
Okay.
Smoke Detector, when it started, when it was more active, had like more to show in the moment for what it was. But it was a really small project, and like a year and a half ago, like right before I pretty much gave up on it, I like had an epiphany and a realization on like what I actually wanted to do with my life. It wasn't
Mhm.
just like play music because that makes me happy. It's like make something I'm proud of, make something that I think is cool, and then I've just spent the last like 2 years figuring out what it is that I think is going to be cool. So I have like the next 5 years or so of Smoke Detector planned,
Wow.
Nice.
which is exciting. Is I'm excited to share it with everybody
Hell yeah.
when I
Yeah.
get the opportunity to. The nothing has gone through like production yet, but the album that comes after the compilation of old songs is completely written,
Wow.
and I've been writing what's after that
Oh, all
for a while.
right.
All right. Oh, wow. All right.
So I mean, you kind of answered this question, but where do you see the project in the next 5 years?
Um, a lot of places. This pandemic really took my life for a left turn, and so I've spent a lot more time writing and like working and just saving up to be able to pay for all of the crazy things that I've been planning. If tours are back by next year, in 5 years, I should be touring all the time for a living. That's the plan. That's what I've been building to. I was supposed to start a booking company this year with some friends of mine in Atlanta, but then shows just stopped in the middle of it. And so, like, oh.
All right. Never mind then.
Oof.
On hold. Yeah.
Well, we'll revisit this next year.
Yeah. Sure. Maybe.
So, for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music and go straight to death row. So, if you were on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man, that's really hard to pick. Last meal? And I'm probably going to get roasted for whatever I pick, but I know what the drink is, because it's like the largest cup of Pib Extra possible. I don't know. Can I like, if I'm on death row, can I make them let me cook?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll cook myself a chicken parm sandwich and a bag of salt and vinegar chips.
All right.
Solid. Good chip choice.
Yeah. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Ooh. Fictional worlds. I feel like I do live in one most of the time. Everything feels kind of fake pretty often. Probably Middle Earth though.
Right.
Solid.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great place. All around.
Yeah. Would you be like a hobbit or?
I don't know. I would definitely like, if I was a hobbit, I probably wouldn't stick around the Shire. I'd probably like die like doing something really stupid.
Okay.
But like in any opportunity I have to really live in a world like pre-technology and like reformed society, I'm just going out and being on my own in the woods and doing whatever I want all the time. And yeah, that's the dream. That's what I want to do now. But,
yeah, solid. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we have spoken to has said it's the most important question.
All right.
What's your favorite color?
Oh shit.
Okay. Yeah.
Damn. That's so rough too. When I was growing up, every time I was asked this question, I would just say that I can't pick, because it's a pain. Because like black doesn't count, but I really like the color black.
Black can count.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's my favorite too, because I really like green. And I really like orange. But I'm probably just gonna say black, because
black.
You know, every color can, if you mix them all together, they'll be black.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Guitar Fight from Fooly Cooley. Listen to them. They're my homies. Yuri, who plays their music, has played drums with me for like the past year, and they're the coolest. The only thing I ever plug is my friends.
Okay.
Go buy some shit from Acrobat Unstable. They're the coolest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, keep an eye out. I'm gonna do something.
Eventually, it's happening.
at least in my opinion, which is not something I can say about pretty much anything else I've ever done in my life, it will be worth paying attention to.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well,
Exciting.
yeah,
Cool.
very excited for that. Thank you for sitting down with us. This has been Smoke Detector, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.